Kuala Sepatang is a traditional fishing village located some 15 kilometers from the town of Taiping. Formerly known as Portwell, Kuala Sepatang is vibrant with the sound of boats passing through its estuaries. Kuala Sepatang is famous for its tasty prawn noodles and was listed as one of the must-visit destinations in Taiping. What makes Kuala Sepatang more exceptional compared to other fishing villages is that it is also the location for one of the best managed mangrove forests in the world. A morning in Kuala Sepatang is so fascinating. The sun shines through tree leaves and twigs. Singing and chirping of birds creates a captivating environment. Added with the lush greenery of mangrove trees that can be seen everywhere. Mangroves are intertidal forests of tropical and subtropical coastal areas. They thrive in sheltered shores with relatively calm waters such as estuaries, bays and lagoons.
Keunikan hutan Paya Laut Matang ni adalah ekosistem dia yang sangat dinamik, di mana dia terdedah dengan hakisan ombak tetapi dia boleh survive.
The Matang mangrove is the largest mangrove forest in Peninsular Malaysia. It covers an area of 40,521.19 hectares that represents 40.5% of the total mangrove forests in Peninsular Malaysia. Bordering the Straits of Malacca and shaped like a crescent moon, the Matang mangroves stretch over a distance of 51.5 kilometers from Kuala Gula in the north to Bagan Pancho in the south. As we stroll along the river estuaries, we can see various mangrove species that grow on its muddy coastline.
Ekosistem di sini kita ada 3 zon utama. Zon yang pertama dikenali sebagai zon Naratia. Yang ini adalah zon perintis yang paling berhadapan dengan pantai. Kemudian zon kedua adalah zon Rhizophyra ataupun bakau. Zon ini adalah zon di pertengahan hutan Paya Laut. Zon yang terakhir adalah zon Bulgaria. Zon Bulgaria ni terdiri daripada spesies-spesies yang ke arah darat sikit.
Species that could easily be found are of Rhizophyra that makes up 70% of the area, Api-api or Avicennia, and Perpat or Sonaratia. Each of them has their own unique characteristic. Rhizophyra has a stilt or prop roots that enable them to adapt to the muddy areas. It has a supporting root that grows from bigger branches at the bottom part of the tree. The supporting roots also act as a hook that prevents the trees from falling due to strong current. It has thick and sharp leaves. Avicennia is the main pioneer species that grows on sandbars facing the sea. It has pencil-like pneumatophores with extensive rooting systems that extend from the soil surface.
Daun dia tu berbalik-balik apabila tiup angin pada waktu malam. Jadi kita akan nampak dia sebagai api-api. Ini menjadi panduan kepada pelayar-pelayar dahululah, menunjukkan itu adalah kawasan daratan.
As for Perpat, it has a conical with secondary thickening of pneumatophorous roots.
Okey, ini ada pokok langgadai. Daunnya kecil saja. Dia punya akar banis. Okey, dan akar pernafasan dia akar lutut.
Bruguera knee root will grow and bend, grow again, and eventually bend to enter the soil. It prefers a more stable soil to grow and survive. Mangrove ecosystem plays an important role ecologically and environmentally in charcoal and pole industry, coastal protection from tsunami, big waves and strong winds, biodiversity conservation, ecotourism and research, ecological and environmental stability, carbon stock, fishery activities, cockles, crab and prawn industries. The objectives of mangrove management are as charcoal production, pilewood production, rehabilitation and protection. Rhizophora apiculata or Bacauminia and Rhizophora mucronata Bacaucurap are the two commercial species used in the production of charcoal. Bacau trees that were felled will be transported to the mill to produce charcoal. Smaller trees with diameter size of less than 20 centimeters will be used as firewood. Harvested logs are placed carefully and stacked neatly inside the kiln to prevent the logs from catching fire. Charcoal is still produced using the old kilns and old methods from the Second World War. Generally, charcoal production involves 3 steps. The first step will be the smoking of the charge using big fire for 10 days at a temperature of 100 to 120 degrees Celsius for complete water evaporation. The second step involves burning using small fire for 14 days. Even though the process uses a small fire, the temperature is much higher at 250 degrees Celsius. In the third and final step, the entrance and vents of the kiln are completely sealed, where the charcoal is left to cool inside. The whole process takes about 8 to 9 days. Black, smoked and shiny charcoal is revealed once the kiln entrance is open. The charcoal is taken out, weighed and delivered to customers. Apart from being exported, the locals use charcoal as souvenirs for visitors.
Kalau bakau untuk peranan memang besar dekat kampung Kurasa Petang.
Banyak punca pendapatan dekat masyarakat sini, bukan sahaja dari segi industri keluaran sahaja.
Duduk kat sini, terus cari makan kat sini lah, kayu bakau ni lah kalau kawasan sini.
Penambahan kewangan kepada masyarakat di sini dan dapat meningkatkan lagi nama Malaysia di mata dunia.
The thinning process for smaller trees is carried out before final felling. There are 2 types of thinning, namely thinning 1 and thinning 2.
Pokok yang terkena dengan tongkat ini akan ditebang. Ini sekarang tak ada, dah tak kena, kita tak perlu tebang sini. Mana kita akan round keliling kayu ni, yang mana kena dengan kayu ni akan dipotong.
Thinning one process is carried out for stands aged 15 years using a 1.2 meter stick. On the other hand, thinning 2 is carried out for stands aged 20 years using 1.8 meter stick. Poles from thinning are the second most important product in Matang mangrove. Poles are used for piling materials in the construction industry and road construction work. They also use as fish traps by fishermen. Various programs have been carried out to rehabilitate and conserve mangrove forests in the area. Today, the Forestry Department is replanting areas that have been identified. This involves transporting mangrove saplings using boats. Planting normally will be carried out as to ensure no more natural regeneration or insufficient natural regeneration after 2 years of harvesting. The Matang mangrove has been managed sustainably since wood extraction in 1902, involving all 19 forest reserves. Gazetting of the entire area took almost 25 years. Currently, the Matang mangrove is managed based on the working plan or the management plan prepared by the State Forestry Department.
So, plan pengurusan yang ada sekarang menunjukkan komitmen yang tinggi daripada pihak pengurusan negeri dan juga negeri Perak ke arah pengurusan hutan Paya Laut yang mampan dan berkekalan.
This 10-year plan is the longest and the most systematic, which was proven successful. The success of this management plan was proven through the vast area and the quality of the forest stand that can be harvested. According to the department's records, the Matang mangrove forest will enter its 4th felling cycle for the period 2020 to 2029. Another most important aspect that was taken into account is the setting up of the annual coupe or annual allowable coupe. Today, the State Forestry Department is drawing lots of balloting to determine the contractors for charcoal coupe. This balloting is carried out every year to determine the distribution of charcoal and pole coupe among charcoal producers. Random checking will be carried out, continuous monitoring and enforcement through visits to each felling site together with checking of license. Boundary and equipment use are in accordance with the specifications. Monitoring is also carried out using the Geographical Information System application to acquire more accurate and realistic analysis on the ground in relation to the distribution of trees as well as information on exact location, species and distribution pattern. As for production zone, clear felling was practiced together with cutting cycle of 30 years. anyone will be fascinated at the beauty of the Matang mangrove forests. Its forest was neatly grown and maintained. Trees believed to be 100 to 200 years old with heights reaching 30 meters form a beautiful canopy. They contribute so much to lives around them, making us thankful and fortunate. The success story and beauty of the Matang mangrove has attracted the mass media, nature lovers, tourists, and locals and international researchers. Visitors not only have the opportunity to enjoy the scenery, but also learn about its ecosystem.
Banyak info yang kami dapat.
Saya ingat luar negara je ada hutan payu bakar, rupanya Malaysia merupakan hutan payu bakar yang paling hebat.
It is not a surprise that Matang mangrove is being listed as one of the 10 wonders of Perak. Activities carried out by the Perak State Forestry Department in collaboration with the local community have helped the public to appreciate this precious gift by stressing on its importance. Its mangrove reserve contains rich flora and fauna that is an additional attraction for nature lovers. Birds are the most easy to spot. About 155 bird species thrive in this area, being a haven for migratory birds and forest birds, especially at the Kuala Gula Bird Sanctuary. Among them are milky storks, wood sandpipers, hornbills, and white-chested hawks. Look at the sight of eagles that make a characteristic sound, either to attract females or fight for food. This magnificent sight to behold can only be seen in Kuala Matang. Aside from birds, visitors can also see long-tailed macaque, smooth otters, and reptiles such as iguanas. It is not an easy task to ensure sustainability of the Matang mangroves is preserved. There will always be challenges and obstacles. This, however, will not stop the Perak State Forestry Department and Laut Matang Forest District to perform their duties. The cooperation of all relevant parties, including the public, is most welcome to ensure the forest areas continue to be protected.
Harapan saya agar hutan Paya Laut Matang ni akan terus cemerlang dan juga menjadi satu benchmark di seluruh dunia bahawa pengurusan hutan ini dilaksanakan secara sistematik.
Sebab apa? Kalau dia orang tak jaga betul-betul, kemungkinan bakau akan pupus. Kita hendak generasi kita akan datang menikmati apa yang kita nikmat sekarang. Jangan kita nikmati seorang-seorang, generasi kita esok pupus habis.
The Matang mangrove is a natural heritage to be inherited for future generations. A story to be told, a jewel to be cherished, and a pulse to keep on beating.